Everyone.
Hailing frequencies are open.
And hailing frequencies are indeed open as we are back with Star Trek Livingstone. Whoop whoop. Isn't it fantastic? And we've got a gate crasher. We have a new player, ALASTAIR, better known to many of us, of course, as the Jaunty Goblin. The man
to be here. Thank you for having me.
Who decided to fuck up our strategy on Devour by telling his partner.
Guilty.
So let's see how long this character lasts.
Months.
So fantastic. Great to have you here with us, ALASTAIR. Are you looking forward to it? We're not giving any spoilers away about your character yet, are we? But are you
Everything kept under wraps, but I had a great time doing character creation with you. I'm really excited to bring this character to the game. And I was saying just before we started, it feels like I have stepped behind the curtain of the theatre, joining in. So looking forward to playing the game.
I don't know about spoilers. I don't know if I'm the only one that has no idea what this character is.
I've no idea. I did. Yep. Actually, I think I specifically said earlier, didn't I? No spoilers. I want to find out.
Oh no, you weren't getting any.
No. Stu would not say anything.
Nope. There's only me and ALASTAIR know at this moment in time, and of course, this being the way of the game, it may be that we don't find out anyway. if you want to do something completely off the rails, but we will see, because if anyone's going off the rails, it's got to be the captain, Mr. Eelin Wraal. Ed, how are you doing?
I'm stressed. It's a dreadful job sitting in that chair.
As was pointed out backstage, as ALASTAIR says, it's like we have the green room backstage. Yeah, Rock said.
Rock said you don't have to turn off the red light.
Indeed, yes. Cut the sun a bit, I think.
A full red alert here. It has meant changing the bulb. Although we did find out, didn't we, that the Defiant classes and I presume the extended Livingstone style ones have landing gear for landing on planets. So we may need a blue bulb at some point as well.
Well, that's an interesting Star Trek thing, because they all have landing gear.
Oh.
Voyager was not the first one. They do have red and green lights.
Really big landing pad for a Galaxy class, though, wouldn't you?
Well, Galaxy class just tend to land face first, don't they?
It depends who reverse parks it into a planet.
Oh dear me!
The earlier comment about the Deanna Troi School of Motoring.
Hey, the twice she's done that. Second time was under orders, and she absolutely nailed it. First time, she saved so many people. Like, all credit to Deanna Troi. I won't have Deanna hate. I won't stand for it. But anyway, yes, mentioning red lights and green lights, because we were talking about this over the weekend. Amy, Lieutenant Commander Davok in the house. In the science seat. So tell us about the red and green lights thing.
So one side is one side, and the other side is the other side. The red side is the left side, and the right side is green. Do you know how I remembered?
Port and Star.
Is it right?
I mean.
Yeah.
That is correct,
Do you know
yes.
It's because red has less letters in it than green, so it's got to be on the left.
Okay. You mean port? Because we don't have left and right on ships.
What about
No.
starboard?
Still works, though.
Yeah. I always think port and starboard, because, of course, it's the dinner table. You pass the port to the left.
You pass?
I know someone who would know that, who's a spivvy chap. Mr. Zankir Gronnahk. Chris. You knew that, didn't you? About passing.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Which spoon to
100%
use.
do that.
He was not listening.
Extract your snails.
Yeah, sorry, who are you people?
Yes.
Where am I?
The weirdest WI meeting I've ever gone into.
It is. And speaking of wee meetings, Matt, how are you doing?
Starboard home. Not too bad. I've taken on 2 members of staff, so I can actually cut my weeks down to probably less than 60.
Yay!
Oh my goodness!
yeah.
Well done, well
Congratulations.
done.
Less than 60-hour day. Good lord.
Well, one and a half. One is unfortunately a little bit unwell that we're a little concerned about. But
Oh dear.
but my new business partner is going great guns. She is absolutely fantastic and sat directly opposite me. She's also a very big Star Trek fan. So we got partially distracted talking. We were talking actual business stuff, and then that digressed into favourite Star Trek series, obviously DS9, followed by favourite DS9 episode, and then going from there. Well, I think you're more of a Voyager fan, aren't you? Yeah. Oh yeah, her oldest son's middle name is Tiberius.
Oh, awesome. Let's give her a shout out. What's her name?
Her name is Laura.
Laura. Hello, Laura.
Hello, Laura.
Hi, Laura.
I don't think
Is
actually,
Laura
I don't
watching
think-
the episode?
I don't know if Laura's watching the episode. I did send her a link. Yeah, she's actually trying to get some work done.
Okay.
We don't stay in the office for our health.
We will leave Laura to her work.
I will
She
be
can
quizzing her
always
on.
watch her on catch up.
I was going to watch on catch up and quiz her, but to be fair, I haven't got a clue what we've done so far, so quizzing might be slightly more difficult.
Well, on that bombshell, and hello, of course, to everyone watching. We have Captain Quinn there. We have Ben Kerno. We have a Mad Turnips bloke. He keeps popping up every now and then. But on that note, shall we throw ourselves back into the game? We did leave it on a bit of a cliffhanger, did we not?
We did.
You sound very unsure.
Consults
Well,
notes.
let's find out.
Certainly.
Asks Amy. Quick chat.
Let's find out if it was left on a cliff. Start again.
It's on a cliffhanger now.
On a
Will the cast
cliffhanger.
get their word out? Will anybody have any idea what's going on? Tune in next week.
Let us have a catch up by means of a log.
Science Officer's Log. Stardate 51377.1. Lieutenant Commander Davok reporting. I remember hearing a human song once. It was during a 20th century karaoke night at the Vulcan Enclave in San Francisco. The lyrics were, "Uh-oh, we are in trouble. Something has come along and it has burst our bubble. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. Best get home, quick march, on the double." Whilst I was unable to fathom its meaning at the time, I'm starting to sense it's relevant to our current predicament. Whilst escorting a freighter convoy into the Shackles and Expanse alongside the Klingon vessel, a word I cannot pronounce, we were bombarded with spatial distortions prevalent in this area. For reasons I choose not to disclose at the time, I encouraged Captain Wraal to set a pursuit course following the distortion. Unfortunately, Orion pirates chose that moment to attack the convoy. The Klingons were unable to defend them due to system failures on their ship. So we returned and were successful in driving away the pirates. Not before 2 of the 3 freighters were destroyed, however. A Klingon mode-class battlecruiser appeared instructions to return to the Narendra station. Shortly after setting off at Warp 3, the captain issued an all-stop order, owing to a suspicion that the Klingons were not being truthful. We received a communication seemingly from Admiral Hubbard confirming the order to return, and the captain issued an order to return. Shortly into the journey, however, Captain Wraal issued an order to reverse course, at which point the ship lost power and is dead in the water. The atmosphere on the bridge is somewhat tense.
Thank you very much, Amy, for that log. So, any fans of shampoo? Just before we quickly go back in.
I mean,
Not from
a few
there.
times a
I
week.
haven't used it for years. People still buy that stuff?
Yeah.
Actually,
I
yes.
have to be very specific now that this actually comes down to about here if I let it down.
What I save on
Fantastic.
shampoo, I have to spend on moisturiser.
Right,
And
so
sunscreen.
yes, the ship has just lost all power and is dead in the water. What, as I like to ask, would you like to do?
So are we in water or are we in?
You're dead in the water in space.
I'm not opening the window to find out.
Right. What are we doing, Captain?
Right. Let's see. I'll call the chief engineer and ask for a report. Why are we not going like a bat out of hell?
Are you using the internal communicators to do so?
Yes.
They're not working.
No, you're
The
not.
ship is
Yeah, we're really
dead in the
loudly.
water.
That's it. We have power.
All the
and life
panels
support.
are blank. You still appear to have life support and gravity by the fact you're breathing. There is emergency lighting in the shade of blue around the bridge.
Nice. Alexa, change emergency lighting to red. No, she's off as well. Actually, mine is. I didn't mean that really, Alexa. Never mind.
Computer.
Nothing from the computer.
No response.
Oh.
Zankir, there is a light that has just lit up on your panel. It appears to be an incoming text-only message routed directly to the captain's ready room.
Captain, somebody appears to be sliding into your DMs.
Well, I'm never afraid to answer one of those from my many fans, not just the only ones. Okay, to my ready. You say it's heading to my ready room.
Yes, yes, Captain.
Very good. In that case, I will go to my ready room. Crew, just stay here a moment, and I will be back. I will be back when I find out what this is. Is there anything indicating that it's for my eyes only, Mr. Zankir?
Only the fact that it's been directed directly to the captain's ready room, which is really odd because normally you would have to decide where it goes.
It's being sent. It's not. That's very specific.
Yeah, it's a very private message.
Anyone for cards?
Oh, yes. I'll go for that.
I'm going to my
How
ready
about
room
this
to
mystery is
answer-
a magic one?
I'm going to my ready room. In the meantime, Mr. Davok, try and see if you can get anything on any. Actually, in fact, all crew, see if you can get anything on your systems. Mr. Zankir, could you make contact with the chief engineer? Walk down there if necessary. I presume the doors will open, and find out why we're dead in space and roughly how much time the emergency oxygen supplies will last as well. That might be useful.
I'm going to
Hi,
touch the
Captain.
panel twice, see it does nothing, and give up.
Yeah, that's about right.
Well,
and
you'll be the first, to find out if the door's open because you walk up to a door and it opens.
That is unusual.
Oh, okay. I carefully go through it, though I'm watching it suspiciously.
Check for traps.
No, it's fine. Yeah. You're heading to your ready room, I presume.
Yes, I'll go to my ready room.
Okay, and once inside your ready room, yes, at your desk you have a monitor, as we know, and on there is a text message from Director Bashir. This is the second time we have had to take control of your vessel. Stop drawing undue attention. Act like Starfleet. Be Starfleet publicly. Power will be resumed very shortly, and you will be escorted back to Narendra Station. Comply. Message ends.
That's pretty straightforward. Okay, I presume this message is has this message vanished, or is it still on
No,
stream?
it's still there.
It's still
there.
Okay. Actually, I will call. I presume I'll probably shout down the corridor to Mr. Zankir and say, "Could you come into the ready room, please?" Unless you've gone past to engineering already.
No, I will shout back that I'm on my way and then head that way.
Okay,
Yes,
Zankir,
Captain.
as you're halfway to the ready room, all the lights come back on and everything powers back up. And as it does so, Captain Wraal, that message disappears.
Aha, I did it! I've been pressing buttons.
That's more like it. Okay,
Captain, I did it!
Fantastic. Well, actually, no, you don't need to shout now, Davok. I can hear you. You just message me. These work now, don't they? Okay.
Captain,
Right.
I did it.
I'll return to the bridge. In fact, from there.
Okay. You are at dead stop, obviously.
Okay. What I might do is actually just we'll just secure the bridge doors for a moment under security protocol. Actually, no, we'll clear the bridge first of all except senior officers. So Mr. Bosh, Mr. Davok, and Mr. Zankir, if you could return to the bridge if you've not already done so.
Okay. Bridge is secure.
Okay. Right. Now, crew, we've been told to go back to registration. Now, as you know, I'm not above asking for a vote or asking for general ideas. So I think at the moment we have a few options of what to do next. We can go back to new registration as ordered. That seems to be a very good idea. In fact, between you, me, and the bulkhead, that's what we've been told we absolutely have to do by our new bosses. En route, we can see if there's any leads we can get as to why there's some strange stuff going on out here. I'm specifically thinking one of those Orion pirates got away. Is there any way we can track them and follow them back to wherever they're operating from? Maybe try and grab one and find out what it is they're up to. Our other option is to head for the original target, which was the space station or the colony. He says, checks notes. The array, yes. Is to go to array 35 and deliver part of what we've already got on board, which should have been part of the manifest of the freighters, which had an unfortunate accident, possibly whilst we were looking after them, or a mix thereof, the three. Suggestions?
I believe we should do as ordered by Dr. Bashir, if that is indeed what they want, and they've shown that they can take control of the ship. If we don't do what they want, we should probably just head back. Now, I am not above finding out if we can circumvent their control of the ship.
You think there's something we could switch off? I mean, we found out already there are bits in this ship that we didn't know about before we walked into them.
I'm no engineer, but there must be something that's happening to give them such long-range control of us.
I trust the senses of your snout to be able to sniff anything out. Davok, your thoughts?
I think we should go back. That would be following protocol.
And Doctor, bothered either way?
While I think going on the Orion Pirates might be a sensible suggestion, we're already in a lot of trouble for going off and looked at Davok in random directions already. Also,
looks at Davok too.
Not a big fan of suddenly having everything shut down mid-flight. We should probably do as we are told.
Agreed. Very well. That's what we shall do then. Helm, set course for Narendra Strait, maximum warp, as long as they've switched that back on.
I
Just
didn't do it.
as Helm is starting to put the coordinates in, Davok, there's an incoming warp signature.
It's incoming warp. What's this?
Oh, fantastic. Sensors, please. What is that incoming warp?
Yes,
So
Sensor name.
we are going to do a roll. This is the first roll of the game. Just a reminder, this is an entirely new scene, so you have no momentum, and I get 2 threat for each player.
Oh no. Oh, there's 5 of us now. Goodness sakes.
There are
I'm not
5
technically in the game yet.
Well,
10
yeah.
threat each game.
Technically,
Oh,
there
thank
isn't. ALASTAIR isn't in the game
Just
yet.
floating
so-
in space.
Well,
Yeah.
thank goodness my threat indicator dice is a D20 and he's only got half of it.
Right. So this is a difficulty 0. It is a chance for you to earn some of that gorgeous momentum. Amy, let's have a reason and science assisted by the ship's sensors and science. Difficulty 0.
I got 2 successes.
Ooh.
6 and a 7.
Okay, and the ship? Anyone?
ALASTAIR can roll for the ship.
Yeah, Alistair. Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Okay, first roll is exciting. So when I roll for the ship, am I just on 2d20 again here?
Just
no, it's
one as you-
1d20
just
for the
one.
ship.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Normally,
yeah.
I don't know how to play.
And,
And
target
you're
number
looking
is
to 11. So you're
11,
looking to roll
okay.
11 or under.
I rolled an 11 exactly.
Yay.
Oh, right.
That counts.
So 3 pieces of momentum that you've just earned. Put that next to my stack of 10 threat. Just to remind you. Okay, so the ship, it is a Federation warp signal, a warp signature. It is coming in hot. It is breaching the maximum warp speed. It's coming in at warp 9.
Right,
So
okay.
they've clearly they're not hanging about.
No, you have to have reason to breach the, is it warp 5 speed limit or 7? Anyhow.
That's
Maybe
correct,
just
yes.
Fans of lizards.
Okay.
And Amy gets a free bit of information, don't you?
Do extra momentum like immediately.
Which is
Science.
it is a Galaxy class starship coming in, and I'll even give you a bit more information. It is the USS Melville.
Melville. Do we know that one?
I just up his notes. There.
Might have heard of it. I don't think any of you have had any actual interactions with it.
Okay.
There are
Yeah. Oh,
It is
I'll give
about
that-
5 minutes away.
Oh, we have 5 minutes, Captain.
fantastic. Okay. Oh, we are heading back. So Helm, continue to line up for warp trajectory back to Narendra Station. Hailing frequencies to incoming ship. What should I say?
Okay.
Hail them.
A couple of, if you want to set off, what warp speed would you like Helm to set off back?
I think we'd like to indicate that we're hurrying back. So they've told us to go back. They haven't told us to break the limit. So maximum and not exceeding limits, I think.
Okay, which I believe is warp 5.
I think 5.
I'll have to double check that, but yeah, that sounds right. Okay,
it's
so heading back
until
up
we
warp
beat it up again
5,
properly.
you are going to intersect them in 3 minutes now.
That's fine. Engage and hail the Melville as we're passing.
Okay.
So yeah, are they
Anything you'd
just
like to do?
for reference? Are they coming from the direction we're going? So are they coming from the Erect as we're heading back to it?
Yes. That
Hang on.
Are we
general
on a
direction.
collision course?
Space is pretty big.
Really big.
We did that last time.
It's mandatory.
Okay, you've got a couple of minutes now until you're in comms range. Anything you'd like to do with that time?
I honestly can't think of anything that we need to do apart from get back to Narendra Station at the moment, or at least make it obvious that that's what we're intending to do.
Okay. So you head
Wave a white
towards
flag.
the Melville, and it comes within comms range. Zankir, you hail the Melville, and you get the view screen image popping up. Alistair, who do they see?
They see Captain Alan Wagner, an old man of average build. Captain Wagner has the kind of clean-shaven, unremarkable face that might lead you to mistake him for just another Starfleet bureaucrat, but his weather-worn skin tells you differently. He's definitely spent an extensive amount of time outdoors on alien worlds. There is a fatherly air about the way he conducts his command, offset by eyes that show flashes of resolve beneath a generally personable demeanor.
And what does he say?
He says, "The Livingstone, I presume. This is Captain Alan Wagner aboard the USS Melville. Please respond."
Captain Wagner, this is Captain Wraal of Livingstone. Go ahead.
Captain Wraal, I'm here with orders to escort you back to Narendra Station, and I would like permission to bring a team aboard ship following some erratic behavior Starfleet's noted on your vessel.
Very well, that's copied, Melville. Yes, that wouldn't be a problem, of course. Your orders, we were told to expect you. I'll tell our navigator to come in alongside you, and are you okay for site-to-site transport at warp?
Perfect. Thank you, Livingstone.
I'll tell my com to liaise with you.
Just so you're aware, Alistair, it would strike Captain Wagner as... Sorry, is it Wagner or Wagner?
Wagner, yeah.
Wagner. Okay. It would strike Captain Wagner as odd that he's just said, we were told to expect you, because one of the major issues, of course, has been lack of communication.
Captain Wagner is aware that this is a strange point in the exchange.
Okay, I'm just making you aware. Okay.
Yeah. Can I assemble a team to take aboard the Livingstone, please?
You absolutely can. So how many team members would you like to take, and from what stations or what areas?
We're bringing a handful of medical personnel and a handful of security personnel, please.
Define handfuls.
We'll take 5 medical and 3 security.
5 medical, 3 security, no problem. Livingstone, are you stopping?
Actually, we'll indicate. Actually, I'll rehail the Melville and say, Captain, would you prefer if we came to a full stop to do this? It is a little safer to transport when not zooming through space at millions of kilometers a second per second.
Of course, Captain Wraal.
No problem. We'll come to a full stop now if you come alongside us. Helm, full stop, disengage warp.
Acknowledged.
And I'm assuming that the Melville does likewise. Okay, you have your team. Are you going with them?
Yes, I'm indeed leaving my number 1 on charge in the Melville.
Okay, and what part of the ship would you like to beam to?
I will beam straight to the bridge, please.
And indeed. So there on the bridge you have 9 people. It's suddenly very, very cramped.
I'm going to have to get some more paper models. Hang on a minute. I do have spares of like double ones as well.
Ah.
5 Blue shirts, 3 gold shirts, and 1 red shirt.
I believe we may need some more chairs.
That won't be necessary, Commander. Dr. Bosh, I presume.
Dr. Bosh appears to have had some kind of
Stunned
malfunction.
silence.
He's locked up.
He doesn't do well in a crisis. It's fine. He'll come to in a second.
He'll be fine in a minute. He's not normally this rude.
Dr. Bosh, once I command your attention, would you be so good as to escort the medical
dreadfully.
personnel present to sick bay to
Yes,
begin
come
a
with
survey
me.
of the crew's
I have
health?
no idea if you can. Yes.
He's catching up now.
There we go.
Mr. Davok,
Come in,
please
Oscar,
scan
come in,
Mr.
Oscar.
Bosh's station for time dilation effects.
Yeah, does my astrophysics focus count for this?
Captain
No, it
Quinn's quite
won't.
right. He's caught in a spatial anomaly.
Okay, so the medical team go off with Dr. Bosh to the medical bay, such as it is. Is the intention to bring each crewman in one at a time, scan them, or bring them in groups?
Yeah, bring them in groups. They don't need to be individually scanned. Working through the crew, looking for anything that might suggest that something is medically amiss in terms of the equilibrium of any crew members aboard.
Okay, that gets underway.
In the meantime, that was very rude of me. I should have welcomed you on board the bridge, Captain. Welcome on board the Livingstone, Captain. I'm
Captain
Wraal.
Wraal, it's a pleasure to meet you. I have some concerns about what's transpired aboard the Livingstone, and I would like to speak to your senior officers regarding these events at time. Would it be possible to make use of your ready room?
Yeah, it's entirely at your disposal, Captain. Please do so. I've instructed all my command staff to give you their full cooperation.
Thank you. I have one request that must be made immediately. Reviewing the notes that Starfleet has sent me, it would seem appropriate that Mr. Davok is relieved of command for the time being, if I understand these transcripts correctly.
If you believe that is worthwhile, I would ask Mr. Davok to step down and return to his quarters for the time being. I'm sure that he would understand the need for us to do that.
Sure thing. Okay.
As Davok leaves the bridge, I motion as subtly as possible for one of the security team to make sure that Mr. Davok does indeed make it to quarters.
If First makes any sort of strange, I'll just sort of motion to First to basically leave it.
No, it's First on the bridge because you did clear the bridge previously.
In that case,
would First be on the bridge?
Unless we returned everyone back to stations when we decided to trundle off back to Narendra Station, which I didn't specify.
You didn't specify. And it did all happen quite quickly, so...
Okay. In that case, well, where is First? Oh, she's gone. Anyway, maybe I'll actually just tap communicator and say, Wraal to First, hold position and give our visiting security guests full cooperation. That comes directly from me.
Okay. You'll get an acknowledgement. And Amy, you're being escorted, or Davok rather, you're being escorted to your quarters by a security officer.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to start anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't put anything past this crew whatsoever. So
I can't whittle down the corridor. I'm upgrading from my skipping.
I was going to
On
say,
that
I'm
bad
surprised
leg.
you don't skip. Oh dear. Okay. So Davok's been removed from the bridge just to bring Matt back into the picture. Dr. Bosh is down in the medical bay doing medical scans with the medical crew from the Melville. First has been told to stay put and stay hidden, basically, for want of a better term. Davok's been escorted off the bridge by a security officer.
Quite right too.
That leaves 5 of you on the bridge. Captain Wagner and the 2 security officers, and Zankir and Ed. What happens next? I can't wait to find out.
I will retire to the ready room and ask Commander Zankir to join me in the room.
Just Counsellor will do.
Sorry, Counsellor Zankir.
Has Wraal been escorted off as well?
Nope, Wraal is still in command on the bridge. Yeah.
Out of interest, are you leaving the 2 security officers on the bridge?
One is quietly told to make himself as invisible as possible, but to remain on the bridge and alert me if anything untoward unfolds. And the other one waits at the door to the ready room.
Okay. I mean, those gold uniforms do stand out, it's got to say.
Yeah, that's a very small bridge to try and stay hidden on.
Yeah.
Give that man a commendation if he succeeds.
If you can find him.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. We'll follow to the ready room. I'll just give Captain Wraal a nod as I leave.
I'll indicate, yeah, carry on. Just everyone cooperate. Nothing to see here.
Counsellor Zankir, reviewing my notes on the Livingstone's recent adventures, I note that your last log entry seems to note some concern about the behaviour of the crew, and it seems that you speak of the captain going along with instructions from Science Officer Davok. Can you explain to me what exactly unfolded here?
The captain trusts his people to do their jobs, Captain. Our science officer, Lieutenant, is it Lieutenant Commander or Commander? It's Lieutenant Commander, right?
Lieutenant Commander.
Davok? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Commander Davok was operating on his own instinct, which Captain Wraal has come to respect. While there may have been some misgivings, I believe the actions were justified.
And can you tell me exactly why you believe these actions were justified? Because the reports I have leave a big mysterious question mark over this point.
Well, as I'm sure you're aware, Captain, not all questions are answered immediately in Federation business.
They'll be answered in this office to a commanding officer if you have information you're withholding.
I have no information that I'm withholding.
So
I know the regulations as well as you do, Captain.
What I'm hearing from you, Counsellor, is that there is no further information that will be delivered to justify this change in course that led to the destruction of 2 ships under the protection of this vessel.
We were following the anomaly which almost took our ship out and did disable the Klingon vessel. We believed that by finding out its purpose, we might be able to stop any further actions by other anomalies.
Why do
we have recorded some information on it.
Why do I see no mention of this in what I can only describe as a mess of an exchange with Klingon vessels immediately following this incident? All I see is a captain who shuts off communications to allies and then lays a course out of the area.
I mean,
let me come to the point, Counsellor. As far as I'm concerned, in your reports, you have conducted yourself with dignity and a common sense that the rest of this crew seems to have been lacking recently. What I need from you is someone that I can trust on the crew who can explain to me exactly what this anomaly is about, why it justified this deviation, and how I should conduct my business with the rest of the crew in light of it. We've all read reports of mysterious anomalies causing irregular behavior on past Starfleet vessels. If this ship is in danger, we need to establish that and establish it fast.
I can assure you, Captain, this ship is in no immediate danger. While we do not have the full answers of what happened with the anomaly, I am positive Davok is currently thinking about it and trying to come to some kind of resolution. I'm no scientist. I am a counselor. First and foremost, people are my specialty. I leave science up to the scientists, Captain.
I understand that I may have come across in this meeting as hard on you and hard on this ship. That is only because of the circumstances that present themselves. We've all seen Federation ships come under stress in the past and have less than ideal reactions to that. In your role as Counsellor currently, I encourage you to speak to Mr. Davok just now, and if there is more to be said about this anomaly and the data that you've gleaned on it, encourage him to think faster, because he will be facing a court-martial if there are not answers when we get back to Narendra Station. And that will do for the moment. Dismiss.
Thank you, Captain. If I need any other assistance doing my job, I shall reach out. And
Thank you, Counsellor Zankir.
Wow.
That was really good.
We're in so much trouble.
Man, that was a grilling. I wasn't expecting the grilling.
I forgot I was playing. I was just watching. That was great.
If it makes
Nobody
I'd
expects the
forgotten
Starfleet Inquisition.
forgotten I had Zoom on this side. I was watching it on Twitch. I was.
Yeah, that was some 4D chess trying to remember what we actually reported.
You can tell that I did my homework rewatching that last episode a time or two before coming on board this week, right?
Yeah, I wish you told me.
Very fun first scene. Thanks, Chris. I enjoyed that.
So Zankir leaves the ready room. What happens next?
I'm
Are you
happy
going
for
back to the
Zankir
bridge,
to
by
have
the
a
way?
conversation with Davok. I'm remaining in the ready room and calling for Miss Bosh next. But if there are other crew members with business to conduct, go ahead.
What are your plans on leaving that ready room, Zankir?
He will probably wait a while, but is intending to go speak to Davok at some point. Not immediately, because he's not going to get told how to do his job by someone else. But,
So far, so
but
right.
he's made a mental note that, probably should check in on Davok just to confirm that everything's okay. So,
Are you waiting
Go
on
ahead.
the bridge or elsewhere?
no, I'll wait on the bridge, especially while the captain's there, just to make sure everything is above board.
Okay. And you say you're calling Dr. Bosh in next, Captain Wagner.
I am indeed, yes, at his convenience once he has a spare moment from the exams and sick bay.
You've sent over 3 medical staff along with my own. That's probably fine. Well,
And
Dr. Bosh, please enter.
Ferengi enters the room.
Captain,
Doctor, pleasure to meet you. Please have a seat.
likewise.
I've been reviewing the notes of the recent adventures of the Livingstone, and I'm hoping that you may be in a unique position to shed some light on the unusual behavior that's unfolded aboard the ship.
I will give it a go. There's been some all sorts of in the last while. We've encountered some things that I don't think are covered in any of the Starfleet medical journals.
This anomaly that is apparently the reason for your deviation from orders can you shed any more light on how you believe that may have impacted the crew?
Just one slight change to that. I've not deviated from any of my orders.
Sorry, that was not a personal comment, more a comment
No,
on
I wasn't taken as personal. I was merely pointing out, for record's sake, that I have not deviated from any of my orders.
I will see that the notes reflect that.
Excellent.
Are you able to provide any information?
So, I mean, obviously, before being sent out here, we were dealing with some neural parasites that were, I'm presuming you're copied into. What is your clearance?
You have not been told about any previous missions.
I'm not aware of your missions previous to these events. Can you enlighten me?
No, is the simple answer, sir. The slightly elongated answer is there was some additional life forms that may or may not have caused certain members of other races to do things that they may or may not have intended to do to start with. This we have mostly dealt with, but I believe this is a slightly different set of circumstances. Now,
Doctor, when I reviewed the logs from the previous couple of weeks aboard this ship, I saw your behavior and I thought I saw a hero in this chaos. I noted an ad hoc medical examination of an officer apparently dictating orders to the captain on the bridge that took you away from a vital escort mission. And I thought, this is the kind of man who I can turn to when I come aboard ship to deliver answers to the mystery that is unfolding, not to reject direct orders and then say, we have partially dealt with an alien parasite affecting people's behavior.
Well, no, clearly, sir, sorry. I had asked whether or not you'd been copied in, and as you weren't copied in, I was trying to give you information without outright saying and breaking my oath. Now, I was merely giving you some background on other things that have affected people near to the ship. Obviously, I figured that all pertinent information was should be at your disposal, up to the point that I can actually divulge sensitive data. I'm sure you understand.
In your medical opinion, is Mr. Davok possibly under the influence of these parasites now?
No. 100%.
Is Mr. Davok under any alien influence that you're aware of currently?
Pause. What was the result of the scan? And there was something that I pointed out to Wraal, but I can't.
Telepathic center of Davok's
brain. Oh yes, the hyper. Yes,
the
Kilari area
had been hyper stimulated.
Unpause. Yes, so as I'm sure you'll see from my reports, the center within a Vulcan's mind that deals with their telepathic abilities had been hyperstimulated. I believe this may have been the cause of uncharacteristic decision-making by the Lieutenant Commander.
Good work, Dr. Bosh. This is the first satisfactory answer I've had since stepping aboard this ship. And I think it is a commendation to your work that you have dug deeper into this disturbing mystery.
Whether or not to hypothesize about your next questions, whether or not the commander is a threat to the rest of the ship, I don't believe so. Hyperstimulation shouldn't cause too much of a problem. My concerns are if whatever is affecting from elsewhere is drawing the commander to it, which
are you referencing Captain Wraal?
No. I'm
sorry, Commander Davok.
Commander Davok, yes. I just he can be, as all Vulcans can be, quite strong-willed, and so just the drive to go where this experience wishes to take him may be strong, but I don't believe that their judgment is compromised. It doesn't seem to be. It just seems to be drawn to a certain position. I vaguely remember some documentation I read quite a while ago about a similar set of circumstances. I can't for the life of me remember where that was. There's so many medical journals and so many other logs and things to go through.
Thank you, Dr. Bosh. That's been most enlightening. I have a couple more questions for you. First of all, I know in the log entry that you were forced into a position where you had to offer a sedative to the captain of the ship, Captain Wraal, during the recent events that unfolded. Do you regard Captain Wraal as fit for command?
Most certainly. As Chief Medical Officer, it's obviously my explicit concern to make sure that every officer performs their duty to the best of their ability. And should obviously, you'll know yourself, the captains are under more pressure than any other crew member. And I merely suggested that a small, very low dosage that I would give to any officer, just to help them in undue circumstances, I would offer you the same thing.
Very well. And so you could find no medical explanation for the captain's erratic behavior in terms of course corrections, deviation from direct orders, failure to maintain contact with allied vessels?
I would say, as my professional opinion, that while we follow the orders of the captains, as yourself, are under slightly more discretion to follow things given the information that they have to hand. Orders given by Starfleet in the whole should be honoured. However, as you know yourself, in the field, things can be a mite fuzzier.
Very well. And my final question is, you refer to more information about this alien parasite, possibly pertinent to our current situation, that is restricted by clearance. I have the captain's clearance in the Federation. Can you enlighten me as to under what restrictions this information is being withheld from me?
Oh, I have no idea, sir. I wouldn't dream of having some suggestion of where this may or may not become. I believe it's probably something to do with protocols pertinent to disease spread. Probably why that's through the medical desk and not through your captain's desk. As I said, the potential, I don't think I actually used the word parasite. If that's what you wish to deem it as, we could say that I don't think that is actually pertinent to this particular set of circumstances. I was just enlightening you that any other previous happenings, we had dealt with such a thing. Now, I would not care to guess of what access you do or not have. Obviously, being captain of a ship grants you fantastic clearance, but I am aware that, an admiral has a certain set of clearance, and unfortunately, both of those clearances are above my pay grade, sir.
Dr. Bosh, off the record, I may have come across touch harsh in this meeting, but it's only because
off the record?
Situation.
Yes, you did, sir.
Very well. The situation is drastic, and to be honest, I have a crew of my own back on board the Melville, and I would not want a crew facing down the kind of situation that this crew now finds itself in. It's not unlikely that I may be asked to give my opinion on what I found when I set foot aboard this ship. And if you have anything else that you want to share with me just now, I will do my best to use that to defend you and your crewmates against any backlash from Starfleet that may be coming your way once we reach the station. But what you do withhold, and I have the sense building here that there may be things being withheld that foster an atmosphere of suspicion aboard the ship. I can't help you if you won't share those with me. So I'll give you this opportunity, and then you're free to return to your duties. And I thank you for the insights you've shared.
The only thing I'd like to say, sir, is with all due respect, the atmosphere of suspicion may be because a captain of another ship has come in and is now using the captain's ready room as a possibility. I would also say that everything that we have faced up until this point, we have come through because of your words, 100% not mine, erratic decisions of Captain Wraal. And I would actually like to add, sir, that I think whatever we are about to come up against, I think Captain Wraal's erratic decisions might be the place that we need to be. Now, obviously, that was all said with all due respect, sir. As a person, I'm never 100% sure of Mr. Wraal, but as a captain, he is first rate.
Very well, Dr. Bosh. I ask you to return to duties, and please keep me updated with any information that transpires that may help us shed more light on the events aboard the ship.
Goes to the door. Sorry, one more thing, Captain. I noticed that your replicators may not have been updated with the latest uniforms. Is that something that you'd like to be stood with? I'm sure we can find a way to get your replicators
Better
upgraded.
Older uniform than no uniform at all, Doctor. Dismissed.
Good answer. Good answer.
He didn't walk in there naked, did he?
And is anyone being called in next?
I would like to speak to Captain Wraal next, but again, I am perfectly happy to wait for that one rather than troop through people one at a time, if that's easier.
Captain Wraal, you have been summoned to your ready room. I'm guessing you're going.
How generous. Yes, I will go to my own ready room.
Okay, and
I know
as
where
you
it is.
walk up to the door of the ready room, that's where we're going to take a break. We will be back shortly to discuss the interrogation by Captain Bad Cop Good Cop of the USS Cat Amongst the Pigeons. Oh my goodness, this is so much fun watching this. I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. We're going to be back in a minute. Don't go anywhere. That's an order.
Hailing frequencies are open.
And we are back, and oh my goodness, what an exciting! I mean, we only had a couple of rolls, but poof, I don't know. I'm half tempted to roll for initiative at this point. It's
rolls are all up here.
a bit cray-cray. What do we all think of this Captain Wagner?
He seems like a great guy.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. He's an upstanding gentleman. That's where I'm going to end that sentence.
Well, he ordered me off the bridge, so I don't think that make him very much at the moment. But I don't have a strong feeling either way.
Well, as a Vulcan, one would hope not.
Exactly.
And, does Dr. Bosh have any, I'm throwing this at you, I realise, but any pertinent rules of acquisition that might apply?
He does not, because his computer went a bit haywire, which is why it crashed out partway through, and he hasn't brought up the courage to open up anything else yet.
He's lost his copy of the rules of acquisition. Oh,
The cheapest binding possible one.
Yeah, it definitely got sort of thrown out of it, having trying to remember all things that he needed to tell or not tell the Captain Wagner. So definitely all rules are just gone.
I've got to say the reactions. I mean, obviously, like big hand for ALASTAIR for pulling this in. Absolutely brilliant, and the reactions from yourselves have been absolutely amazing. So should we go
I think
back
joining
into
a role-playing game and shouting at everyone is your first contact with them.
I think I need the Wraal sedative.
The Wraal special.
Yeah.
You can have the rest of the dose you're going to give me.
Well, funny enough, when he mentioned the sedative, my immediate reaction was, Bosh looks like he needs one himself. Yeah. Right, shall we pull ourselves back into the game?
I'm scared.
So, while this conversation has been happening with Dr. Bosh and Captain Wagner, is that the time when Zankir's maybe gone to see Davok, or would he have left it a bit longer?
No, I'll go do that while the doctor's in.
Okay, the doctor is in. So yes, you head down to Davok's quarters. Oh, would your security guard be standing outside, Captain Wagner?
Probably not directly outside the door, but certainly within viewing distance of it, lurking in a corner or appearing to check an EPS conduit somewhere, but not really doing much with it.
He's just looking through a newspaper.
The cutout eye holes in the middle.
He's checking all the panels on the wall to see what little comedic comments the set dressers have put on it, because if you look at the actual ones, that's what they actually did.
Yeah.
Please check rear view mirror, it says on one of the turbo doors.
That's it. One of the issues about upscaling to 4K. Just so you know. There are some copyright issues in with some of them as well.
There's a rubber duck on the Enterprise D as well, but I'll let you find out where that is.
Anyway, so Zankir, you approach Davok's quarters. And there's a very obvious security guard trying to look nonchalant.
Just stare him down. He's got like the Groucho Marx glasses and nose thing. I'm just going to walk up to the door and ring the bell or open it if I can.
Bing bong.
You can come in.
I'll walk in, staring the security guard down as I do.
Can we roll to see if you make it through the door?
No, you make it through the door. It's fine. It's not Usher, is it? So
Lieutenant Commander, may I have a few minutes?
Yes, I'm skipping, by the way. So obviously,
Oh, nice. I haven't seen you do that before. It's very athletic.
I'm good at it. All right, yeah, I'll stop and we can sit down. Would you like a?
It's impressive.
What do you
It's
drink?
impressive how you
out
do
there?
on that gammy leg. I'll just have a Romulan ale, I think.
Yeah, that's good.
So, I believe a conversation is due.
Mm.
There were some, despite what I just told Captain, whatever his name is, Captain sticking his nose in there. There were some inconsistencies in your behavior over the last day, and I would like to know the truth of what happened before we get questioned anymore.
I think we're in a bit of a predicament, aren't we?
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah. So what happened was, so you know the anomaly.
I'm aware of it.
So when we first encountered the anomaly, I felt the need to follow the anomaly. I thought that was the best course of action, which is why I suggested it to the captain.
And
While that
then
was
when you
happening, I did hear something, but I'm not quite sure what it was. I couldn't make out what was being said. But I don't know whether that was the anomaly or not.
were hearing voices.
Not quite. But that's not too uncommon for a falcon, right?
If you have had telepathic tendencies before, then I presume it's not too uncommon. So what made take control of the ship in the way you did?
Oh yeah, I did that, didn't I? Because we needed to follow the anomaly.
It seems like there was something extra pushing you to take that course of action. That doesn't seem like something you would normally do, Davok.
It felt important to follow the anomaly.
So much so that you would go behind your captain's back and lay in a course without him knowing.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, does it?
Is there a way that I can get a sense on how truthful Davok is being with me right now?
Falcons don't lie.
So
Sure.
Exaggerate.
I wouldn't normally encourage. So this is not going to be a player versus player role because I know the truth behind all this. I'm going to say you can take an insight, and your counselling is medicine, isn't it?
Yes.
An insight and medicine roll. I'm going to make it difficulty 2.
Okay. This I have focuses in xenopsychology and counseling and arbitration and diplomacy. Would either of these come to play?
Xenopsychology would, yes.
Okay.
Do you want to take do we have 2 momentum? 1 momentum? Any momentum?
You've got 3.
We
We do
momentum.
have some.
3. Sorry.
I will take one.
Take.
I will take one. And actually, yeah. Jesus. That is 2 successes.
2 successes, exactly what you needed. Davok is definitely being truthful. You sense the possibility that Davok may be withholding something, but that's really hard to tell because Vulcans naturally always seem like they're withholding something to emotional species. Because
Okay.
they're always withholding
and
their
as an-
emotions, them being suppressed.
As an extra thing on top of that, because I am the ship's counselor, and I succeeded on a task determining the emotional state or intent of another living creature, I also get the bonus momentum for the obtain information spend if that is relevant.
You get a sciencey thing. Oh, yeah, the same. All right, cool.
So yeah, you get the bonus momentum bit of information thingy, the immediate one.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, same thing that Amy gets, but psychological rather than sciencey.
When you mentioned about Davok having taken control of the ship surreptitiously, there was a degree of discomfort on behalf of Davok.
Okay.
Is that fair to say, Amy?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, James,
Lieutenant
1977. We are not the new cabinet, although, yes, I agree, we would do a damn sight better job.
That's a low bar.
It really is.
We set ourselves very low standards and usually fail to attain them.
Lieutenant Commander, it is important at this time that we are truthful with each other, as we have certain responsibilities outside of our regular Starfleet responsibilities. There are some things that I may be able to help shield you from as ship's counselor, but I need to know the truth first.
Okay. I think I've been truthful as far as I remember. I'm just reading my notes.
Make sure we don't mess with the
Everything you have said has been truthful. I can confirm.
Yes. Okay. I mean, I feel a bit of nothing about what I've done because I don't feel anything. But yeah.
You are probably going to be grilled a lot harder than this by Captain Wagner. I tried to do the best I could to make it easy for you, but he's a tough character.
Okay.
Just try not to incriminate yourself too much.
Yeah. I can only say what happened.
Okay. And with that, Zankir will finish his drink and leave.
Okay, and as the GM wonders about the prohibited items in Davok's quarters with the Romulan ale, which is illegal, we cut back to Wraal.
Section 31.
Just outside, yeah. Just outside the ready room door, and the door slides open.
Wraal, come in and have a seat, please.
Thank you, Captain Commander. I shall.
Thank you again for the use of your ready room. I understand that this is unusual. These extraordinary circumstances make me appreciative of your hospitality aboard your ship.
Well, unusual circumstances are part of our business.
Of course, some circumstances are more unusual than others in the line of our duty as Starfleet officers. Can you shed any light on recent events aboard the ship, irregular actions that have occurred on board?
In some ways, yes and no. I can confirm that some unusual actions have taken place on board the ship. Can I confirm why they've happened? Not really. Certainly, as you've ascertained, the source of any unusual and non-conformist actions on board seems to be through our science officer. Now, as captain, I have to take full responsibility for the actions of the ship, even if they are dedicated or recommended by one of my team. But as a captain, I have to go with my team's suggestions, and I trust or I trusted Commander Davok implicitly. He's had certainly given me no cause for any alarm or suspicion prior to this particular mission. Indeed, his actions on behalf of the ship and Starfleet have been exemplary beforehand, and with a slight challenge to his skipping abilities due to versus the crew of
Cerritos.
Doritos. I'm thinking Doritos.
Sounds like a good story for a happier time, perhaps, Captain. I do appreciate your straightforwardness with regards to your comments on Commander Davok's actions. Regarding your own behavior, can you explain why communications were cut to Klingon allied vessels in recent times, and why orders were disobeyed to return to Starbase?
Well, as you can see, Captain, we are currently returning to Starbase. We did consider pursuing the Orion pirates who had attacked the convoy, and I'm sure the ship's logs will indicate. However, communications with the Klingons is always a thorny and tricky subject. I spent most of my childhood out on the borders near the Klingon Empire myself. They're a difficult people to work with, if you know, until you realise how to work with them. In all honesty, the captain we were working with there, I've never met a Klingon capable of being incapable of defending his ship as that one. That was very unusual to me. Lifeless and dead in space against a simple anomaly, the Livingstone seemed to manage by simply manoeuvring around it, by watching around. Klingons are hunters, as you know, Captain. They're always watching around. I'm not sure why this one wasn't.
I'm no stranger to Klingons, but a word of advice, Captain. When you speak to the officers who await us back in Narendra Station, I suggest you avoid pointing out the inability of the Klingons to defend themselves when your ship lay in a course away from the convoy it was escorting, resulting in the destruction of 2 ships in that convoy. It seems like that might be asking for trouble with our superior officers. You have a crew here who clearly admire you and are dedicated almost to a fault to you. And I want to do my best when I'm asked to report on what I've found aboard the ship to defend you and your crew. One thing that I've found disturbing in my interviews with Counsellor and the Doctor are hints of outside influences impacting aboard the ship and strange security clearance issues with reports that your officers seem unwilling to turn over to me about alien entities that might affect the ship in just the way that we've seen in recent times. Can you shed any light on that?
With my own, I don't know if you've done much research into this particular area of space before you came into it, Captain. I'm not certain how long you've been in the Shackleton Expanse yourself. Our own background research, and it is widely available on Starfleet records, indicate that we're not the first starship in this area to have encountered bizarre and erratic behaviour by Starfleet personnel, although it didn't seem to be explained at the time. I wouldn't have believed it myself had I not apparently encountered it in the past 24 hours with one of my own crew members, apparently telling us to go and do something with the absolute belief that that was the right thing to do. Apparently, it wasn't.
Captain Wagner, you are unaware of any such events?
Specifically, any event in the Shackleton expansion of that nature?
Any of that specific nature. You know, it's an area with a lot of spatial anomalies. That's it. Nothing about people reacting. You don't know of any of that at all.
I've reviewed the files on the Shackleton Expanse coming to this assignment and have seen no mention of behaviour like this. Could this possibly be linked to information that Dr. Bosh elected to withhold from me? Can you enlighten me, Captain?
Pause. Do we?
That wa-
Is the
all
Atlantis,
that-
are the Atlantis' logs held or withheld from everyone, or are Atlantis' logs
Those were
open
the Section
information
31 logs.
logs? Ah, I see.
You're doing a really good job of keeping the secret, all of us. Oh, God.
What's a Section 31?
Yeah, what's one of them?
I didn't give any information away whatsoever.
No, I don't think I'm going to be able to.
No.
I merely hinted there was things he didn't know.
Fun pause. Let us say, Captain, that our previous encounters in this area have led us to believe that there are anomalies out here which can affect not just ship systems, but people themselves at a psychological level. To the extent and what's causing them and how far, we don't yet know. My best scientist on board apparently seems to be the victim of one of them. And my best counsellor is in the process, hopefully, of trying to ascertain what that is.
I hope you understand, Captain, that I will have to have the logs that I present reflect the fact that you appear to acknowledge extensive files that you have access to on the history of these kind of disturbances in this area that you now appear unwilling to share with me.
We ask a lot of questions of a lot of passing freighter captains, those that survive.
Yeah, that was certainly not how this was intoned to me when the information was raised in the first instance. But I appreciate that, much like your doctor, you seem unwilling to answer any more on this subject. Are you satisfied that no one else is affected by this phenomenon on board your ship?
I am entirely satisfied that the only problem we've had seems to be with our chief science officer at this time.
Off the record, Captain, I was sent here with orders to bring you back to Miranda Station by any means possible. I can count on one hand in my long career the number of times I've had an order from a Starfleet superior to use any means necessary to bring a fellow Starfleet vessel to a location, and I want you to prepare yourself and your crew for a meeting much worse than your encounter with me and this ship today when you back to the station. And I encourage you, or anyone on your crew who you believe may have more information either about the alien presence or about this elusive information that seems to be present aboard the ship but under wraps, to come forward and speak to me about it so that we can mount the best defense possible of your crew on return.
Oh, well, entirely off the record, but also on the record, Captain, if you really want to help Livingstone and their crew to the fullest of your abilities, you could help us find out what these anomalies are doing, where they are, and what they are.
You understand that the actions aboard your ship have so compromised it that Starfleet essentially deems you a rogue vessel at this point. I appreciate that the anomaly has clearly had an impact on your crew, and I understand that that can be particularly hard when you have friends aboard the crew who have been affected in the manner that Commander Davok has been. However, I advise you to reassign your top priority to your upcoming encounter with your superiors at Starfleet, because if that does not go well, there may be no starship left under your command to pursue the anomaly with further.
Captain, I will give you the coordinates of where we were. We will continue to render station. Escort is unnecessary, but I know you have your orders. Regardless of what happens to the Livingstone or to me, I'd encourage you to go and have a look yourself.
I will note that in my logs, and I certainly think that the anomaly deserves further scrutiny. I'm deeply concerned by what I've seen aboard the ship, and I only wish that you and your fellow crewmates felt happier sharing information with me that seems to not be forthcoming at this point that might help me get to the bottom of what's happening with it. Until we return to Starbase, I relinquish your ready room back to you, and thank you again for its use. And we'll be present on board the ship if you have any questions or wish to come and speak with me regarding anything we've discussed here today.
Captain, you're more than welcome to remain on board Livingstone for the trip back to Narendra Station as my guest. Our facilities are meagre compared to your own, but the replicators do a fairly decent pie.
I look forward to trying it. Thank you.
I'll take my leave and return to the bridge.
Okay, and we cut now to the medical bay, where straight after Captain Wraal has sworn blind that Davok is the only person affected, Dr. Bosh, you and the medical team are seeing a pattern with your scans, a quite distinctive pattern. Telepathic species have all had their telepathic centers of their brains recently hyperstimulated, and the telepathic species are also reporting to a person that when they were, or when the ship was in the vicinity of these spatial anomalies, they were hearing or receiving telepathically whispering sounds, almost like voices just out of reach, just beyond hearing. Some of them felt an urge, a yearning to go to the anomaly, to go into the anomaly, but that varied widely across the crew. And even like two members of the same telepathic species, one would be like really, oh my god, it was like a real driving force. Another one would be, I found it interesting, but that was it. But all telepathic species are reporting this, and all telepathic species are showing this hyperstimulation. No non-telepathic species.
Captains.
Yes, Doctor.
Could you both join me in my office, please?
Certainly. Captain Wagner would come with me.
Right away.
I'll show you where the doctor's office is. You can smell it from here.
Very good of you, Captain.
So, and pointedly looking directly at Wraal, the scan that we did of Davok.
Yes.
If you remember, and up on the screen, it showed this wave pattern.
I remember that one. That's the psychic bit of Davok's brain, isn't it?
Yes. You remember this pattern clearly?
Yes, that's the one that was relatively. That was just after we encountered those anomalies only yesterday, wasn't it?
So this is Ensign Kendrick's brain scan.
Kendrick's?
Yes.
It's Betazoid, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's the same as. All right. Okay. So how many other psychic species do we have all the Livingstone's complement?
Approximately 5%. So
approximately 5%. 4%. So 5%. No, it keeps changing.
No, four people, because it's 80 crew members.
It's always been
Always three.
I still haven't recovered from watching that episode. Never mind playing it.
We never will.
Yes, it seems that all inherently telepathic species have some level of abnormality in their cortex.
And we think this is directly caused by the spatial anomalies we encountered.
I would say, with as much certainty as I possibly can, yes.
Or should we say, before we encountered these anomalies, no one was acting weird. What we did, one person was acting weird, and now that we've checked afterwards, everyone's been affected with exactly the same patterns as Davok was, who's the only one we've actively noted.
Yes. Now, there are 2 people left on the ship that haven't been scanned.
Well, I suppose we better. And normally, I would actually have suggested you scan me first. Actually, Doctor, you're always best to go first and set the example. please do go ahead, unless Captain Bagley you'd like to go first for a scan, Doctor.
Dr. Bosh, a quick question. This may be an urgent situation if the other crew members affected could be driven in their behavior in the way that Davok was on the bridge. Is there a chance that you believe that these crew members may have actually had their behavior affected directly, i.e. may have interfered with systems or otherwise been coerced into acting out of character?
Unlikely, sir, but not out of the realms of possibility. It just seemed to be a stimulation, more like an incoming messages rather than any explicit things to do. I take the fact that we're still, I looked out the window, moving back the way we should be going, that nothing has been tampered with as yet. However, I'm a doctor, damn it. I couldn't tell you whether or not there's been sabotage on a ship. I've just finished Wraal's scan.
Please, Doctor, proceed.
Just to interject, one of the people you scanned, Bosh, was Roget's Thesaurus, the Reman, chief engineer. If anyone was in a position to sabotage, it would be him.
That is a fair point.
He heard the whispering, but didn't get any yearnings.
So I will relay that as well. Yes, Reman.
Sorry, did you say a Reman officer aboard this vessel?
Oh, that's correct.
I am not aware of any Remans graduating from Starfleet Academy.
Well, he's fairly new.
Will you transfer his personnel file to my datapad immediately, please?
Yes, I will, and I will send the basically the character sheet with absolutely nothing else on it.
Yeah, there's a corrupted file.
Yeah, it doesn't read his exact. Also, under no circumstances mention that we've probably just walked past in the corridor a flipping great big Cmdr wearing Starfleet uniform.
No, First has been keeping herself hidden away as per orders. And
so I will start scanning.
First, a political asylum seeker and he's a refugee, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking that First is a female Cmdr that doesn't exist in this universe as far as anyone knows? Is that
yes?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Just making sure I have that right.
In terms of convoluted backstory, you won't get another one.
You thought a Reman on board.
There's a reason she's sticking
out. Just wait.
There's a reason she's staying out of sight.
Yeah.
While Dr. Bosh is scanning away, I will say to Captain Wraal, Wraal, do you believe that your ship could function well enough to return to station without that 5% of crew on active duty if we place them on leave for the sake of ship security?
I believe that, and if I ask those crew for the sake of to report to Dr. Bosh's medical bay for the return, I don't think that anyone would object. They'll do what I say. And likewise, we have a full complement in all departments. We have science and engineering officers who can take over, no problem.
Would you concur as well that we should launch an immediate review of ship systems to ensure that there hasn't been any sabotage or tampering with the vessel?
That would be a wise precaution, but as Dr. Bosh said, if anyone is in a position to do so, it would be the chief engineer. And though whilst nothing has happened yet, let's be safe before we move any further.
Are you happy if we're placing your chief engineer on leave if I prefer the chief engineer from the Melville to conduct the review?
That would be no problem at all. I would welcome their input.
Thank you, Captain.
May I ask what species?
Human.
Actually, what percentage of your own crew is psychically inclined, Captain?
Stu, would you fill me in with that statistic, please?
It's going to be about the same. And of course, as a Galaxy-class ship, you also have families on board, as well as the crew. You would estimate that there are maybe, and it is it's more of a guesstimate than anything, but approximately 200 people with psychic.
I will contact the Melville and tell them to begin scans on the ship as well to check whether the same activation that's seen aboard the Livingstone has also taken place aboard the Melville.
And Dr. Bosh, of course, will, yeah, we're amongst colleagues here, so of course we'll be giving you our full cooperation. If you could send the copies of the scans that we've reported on Davok and other crew members here to the Melville's Chief Medical Officer so that they can know what they may be looking for.
But of course. Okay, I think
Thank you, Captain.
I've just finished scan on Captain Tight Pants.
Okay, and you nothing out of the ordinary.
Thank you for your attention, Doctor.
So, as suspected, these anomalies are affecting, if affecting they are, only psychically inclined species.
Mm.
We're forced to conclude, not conclude, forced to wonder then, are the anomalies a psychically inclined species?
Potentially, sir. Is there something in waveform that we could do to... So, in secure buildings, you can play waveform, play sound pictures and light waves and things at windows to change the vibration to stop anyone being able to hear in. Can we do something similar, given the waveform, to try and basically, can we play some white noise in the ship?
Psychic shield.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, yes, the deflector shields would probably be your best bet if it was resonating at the exact frequency. But what that would require is a bit of technobabble.
I think
what we need to do is...
Give me some technobabble, Bosh.
Where are you, my dear?
While he's finding that, so the reason we have Rogetz as the engineer is because our ship is drawing a lot of power for systems that we shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to make sure Ed remembered that in that conversation about the engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this does kind of work. We need to redirect the phased iconic dampening coupling.
Simple as that.
Yeah,
And it's
now,
not-
Of course.
to redirect the phased ionic dampening coupling, is that right?
Yeah.
What you need to do is give me a control and security role assisted by structure and engineering. Who is doing this?
Wouldn't be me.
Well, is Wraal authorizing it, first of all?
At the moment, Captain, if I'm thinking along the right lines, and I'm not a scientist, I'm a pilot, this could be a first contact situation. If these anomalies, rather than just wibbly wobbly things in space, are actually trying to communicate with other psychic inclined races. Now, you and I are flying through this area, or even some of our ancestors flying through this area hundreds of years ago with, let's face it, a less diverse federation at the time, might not have even noticed that they were calling out. Now, ships like we have now, we're basically a beacon for these creatures, if in fact that's what they are, and they're shouting at us to come and see them. What would your thoughts be?
I think that's an interesting hypothesis, Mr. Wraal. Stu, out of character for a second, how far from the station are we now?
So have you been travelling back towards the station while these interviews have been taking place?
Yes. Or as long as you know.
I just pulled this out of warp, so I presume we carry on after the transfer.
Yes, that would,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm guessing you've been travelling back at the reduced warp speed rather than maximum warp. So you're probably, I'm going to say, about maybe half an hour away.
We have a short journey time back to the station and have not seen any sign of these anomalies on our travels so far. Inclined to give the order to both ships to increase warp speed and resolve this issue once we are returned to Starbase, if you're in agreement.
Well, as you rightly say, this is a hypothesis that just happens to have some interesting hooks that might mean we're onto something. But we're heading away from the anomalies anyway. They're far behind us at the scene of these various incidents took place. We may have better equipment at the render station and certainly a more locally aware science team who we can pass this information on to.
Yes, I concur.
Very good. If your helm increases speed, mine will do so to match, of course.
Okay, give the order to make it back to Starbase as soon as possible in light of this new information.
Okay, and yeah, warp 9, you're going to get back there like, yeah, really quick, like a couple of minutes.
Brilliant. I guess it seems like appropriate minutes to have a quick word with Mr. Davok, the last crewman who I've not yet had a chat with in the ship.
Okay.
Oh, you don't want to talk to me.
Are you going to visit Davok?
Yep, I will go along to Davok's quarters and say hello.
Okay, Davok, you get a bing bong at your door as you're knocking back the illegal Romulan ale.
No, I'm skipping. You can come in. I'll stop skipping.
Whilst the good Captain Wagner is off searching Davok's quarters for illegal booze and skipping ropes, Wraal returned to his ready room, and am I able to? Do I have a hotline to our shadowy bosses who?
Use the red phone.
Yeah, do I have a bat phone to Mr. Bashir?
I'm afraid not. They have your number, but you don't have theirs.
Okay, no problem. No. However, they do know. They've got every part of this ship bug pegged and so on. So I will secure.
You just start whispering into the lamp like SOS.
Help us.
I'll secure the door, lower the cone of silence, and whilst I'm under it, record a quick log, knowing full well that our shadowy bosses will be able to hear it, relaying what we've done, and also indicating that, or maybe asking, should I say, to what extent are we allowed to bring in allies who might help our cause? And kind of leave it like that, and then return to the bridge.
Okay, and you record that under secure lockout. So is it more like you're recording a log saying what?
I would indicate that what's happened, that we are under escort back to Narendra Station, and that the captain of the Melville has been very polite, if officious but polite, with us. But if we are to continue to serve Section 31 efficiently, we may occasionally need to bring in allies.
Additional contractors.
Yes, exactly. I think I just will indicate something along the lines of, it would be good if we could share some, if not all, of our secrets.
Okay, and are you mentioning Section 31 by name in this secure log?
For the sake of although it is a secure log, I will simply say, I'll just make mention of basically the people who watch over us at the moment.
Okay, so you allude to them rather than, but overtly allude.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be
double speak.
Yeah, put it this way: the guy who's back in Section 31 headquarters, listening to everything that's going on in this ship, is definitely going to know what I'm talking about. Them.
Our friends in the circus. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So yes, you record that under secure lockout. No
And
problem.
head back to the bridge. Carry on.
Meanwhile,
Mr. Davok. Hello. I've been speaking to your crewmates about recent irregular events aboard the ship, and I feel that you found yourself a focal point of, shall we say, multiple pressures that have impacted this ship. Can you shed any light on your action in the recent weeks?
Not really, no.
Particularly, are you able to give any information about why you told the captain to adjust course away from the convoy and to pursue an anomaly?
I felt it was important to do so.
Did you feel, as Dr. Bosh now seems to suspect, that the anomaly was potentially communicating this idea to you in some way?
That makes sense from my experience.
Mr. Davok, I've just met you, but very, very shortly you're going
This
to
is
be...
crazy. Here's my number.
We are going to be arriving at Narendra Station, and you will be being asked questions, more likely a lot more pointedly than I'm asking you here. And I suggest if you have time to talk to Dr. Bosh before those questions are asked and to work up more information and description about this external influence on your actions, that might be in your best interest before you speak to your superiors on the station.
I'm happy to submit to a full medical exam.
Finally, Mr. Davok, I'd like to appeal to your sense of logic and ask you to come forward where your captain and crewmates haven't, regarding what appears to be a stash of files on board this ship that a wider Federation doesn't have access to, detailing events that could prove your innocence and the lack of responsibility you bear for your own actions in terms of what unfolds in the Shackleton Expanse. Can you shed any light on where I might be able to access these files on the ship, or why you have them, or where you have obtained them from?
Well, I believe my captain's security clearance will be higher than mine, so I'm sure if he's filled you in with everything that he can. But security clearances are there for a reason, so if you don't have the requirement, unfortunately, I'm unable to disclose anything further, even to save my own skin.
I respect your decision, and I wish you the best when we return to the station. Thank you for speaking with me today. And unless Davok has anything more to say, I will leave you to Romulan nail and skipping ropes in the quarter.
There's no ale, there's just skipping rope.
And empty ale bottles.
Okay. And indeed, just as your conversation ends and you mates leave the room, call comes through. You have arrived. Both ships have arrived at Narendra Station, dropped out of warp, fallen into a holding pattern around the station, and all 5 of you are beamed directly to the ops deck on Narendra Station. I'm going to spend all my 10 threat.
Oh no, you're allowed to do that. We can't
Because
spend all our
Station
momentum in
explodes.
one day.
because there are 20 security officers, 10 of whom are armed with phase rifles. There is Admiral, used to be Colin, now it's just Admiral
Very
Hubbard
much
there, looking very stern, and stood at the side of him, looking absolutely fucking furious, is Admiral Janeway, and that's where we'll leave it for tonight.
Oh, good. Admiral Janeway again.
We are so dead.
And you thought I was harsh.
Nobody moved.
Oh, I need to prepare for that.
I
Now
like
you've
the way
been
they
softened up with the pummeling.
I like the way they nicked poor old Captain Wagner as well, who's thinking, hang on a minute. Am I getting dragged into this?
Oh,
What have I
Oh.
done?
Well, you're there. That's, a lot more.
Yeah. You're part of it now. You're just as responsible as the rest of us.
So just as we were throwing stones at the passing car, you happened to just walk past as well, just as the teacher walked around the corner.
Oh my
Guilty of
goodness.
association.
Well, what an introduction to the game there. That was a
So much fun. Yeah.
Yes.
very
I
role play
really
heavy episode
enjoyed
there.
being here.
Good fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
thank you
so-
for welcoming me on board.
Oh, definitely.
you're very welcome.
Very,
Most
very
welcome. Especially after a performance like that.
So the
Well, yeah,
captain you love to hate.
Definitely a lot more role play heavy than we would normally do. But that was worth it.
It's
Definitely.
exhausting.
I think we can do it.
Yeah.
Hands up if you feel
Don't
emotionally
dice.
drained from that.
I have no emotions. Don't know what you're talking about.
I need to visit the counsellor after this.
I know.
I need to reapply take my spots off and give them a long lie down.
But,
Absolutely fantastic.
Rule of acquisition 62, the road, the greatest profit.
Yay! He's got his book back.
I better sort out my defence for next time.
Yeah, good
Well,
luck.
yeah, and hopefully fortnight's time. We all good at the moment for a fortnight
Oh, yes.
Yep.
that we know of. Brilliant. So yes, so thank you for everyone who joined us. A couple of new faces in tonight, which was really, really nice to see. So very, very welcome to you all. And do join us again in a fortnight's time when we will indeed see where the hell this is going. I know where it's
I
going.
don't know.
Oh, well, no, I sometimes know where it's going. Then you will do something really weird.
I think the phrase intergalactic bollocking of a lifetime is probably going to be the subsequent show notes.
It feels that way, doesn't it? Well, we will find out in a
Then-
fortnight's time.
And then Janeway will start.
Fantastic. Well, in the meantime, peace and long life to everyone, and live long and prosper. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.